So as we discussed yesterday, the primordial minds of all the Buddhas making requests to that aspect of the Guru to recognize the clear light nature of the mind, the most subtle mind, without beginning and without end. So that subtle mind, so all sentient beings beyond the number of all the skies. So one wishes to establish the meaning of all those, or the purpose of all the sentient beings. So in order to be able to help sentient beings, the Buddha shows different aspects of appearances like emanation bodies and enjoyment bodies. So those sentient beings who don't have pure appearance, and then the Buddhas have to emanate impure aspects in order to relate to sentient beings, in order to communicate with sentient beings. Not just one or two sentient beings, but all of them. They work for the benefit of all sentient beings, all of them. Aspects. So the lamas, the guru, works for that particular purpose. He is actually the manifestation of the activities of the Buddha. And can have different aspects, even in human form with animals, pretas, hell beings, just to benefit beings. They take these different aspects to benefit beings. So oneself, whatever you know of the Dharma, whatever you know, comes from the Guru. Everything you know, all virtue comes from the Guru. Each type of virtuous activity comes from the Guru. All virtue, all the virtues, whatever mentally is created, physically or verbally, all virtue comes from the Guru. Likewise, so every good deeds we do in order to achieve higher states, in order to achieve liberation, enlightenment, for future lifetimes, the virtue we create for that, courses we create for liberation. We experience happiness in future lifetimes, so that all of that, all virtue, all happiness, all of that comes from the Guru, arises from the Guru. As we explained before, all virtue, all happiness comes from the Guru, all of it. So you should know that. So that's very important to know. So when we do Guru Yoga, for example, so then meditate on those aspects, whatever right conditions we have for that purpose. It also comes from the Guru. So if we put effort in that direction, so whatever quality we accomplish, whatever good deeds we do, actually comes from the Guru. Beyond limitless sky. His kindness is beyond limitless sky. All concentrations, the bliss of concentrations, also comes from the Guru. All from the Guru. All stable forms of happiness come from the Guru. One should know that. So that so by dependence on the Guru, so the conversation between Don Tompa and Lama Tisha, when they're discussing Guru devotion, so then so then even if the Guru has to use the bathroom, then Don Tompa, even when Atisha was sick and couldn't go to the bathroom, then he helped Atisha. And so and by the power of seeing, having this pure vision of the Guru, by the power of that, because it's pure vision of the Guru, within a short period of time, acting perfect Guru devotion, then by serving the Guru, take the feces and the urine when Lama Tisha was sick, and seeing it as pure and clean that way, then he achieved different realizations. So in the continuity of Don Tompa, in the 18 days, he had different kind of realizations. So Kucha had his minds and even little creatures. So he generated this kind of realization of clairvoyance by serving the Guru. So it's like that. Likewise, when Atisha in India, as well as Tibet, Atisha was able to do a lot of virtuous activities, beneficial activities, that actually came from his own Guru devotion. Because 157 lamas he depended upon. Atisha had 157 gurus and had perfect guru devotion towards all of them. Pure appearance of all his teachers, nothing impure. So 157 gurus, all of them, Atisha had perfect guru devotion to all of them, according to the scriptures, that kind of guru devotion, not even accepting one. So without exception, he practiced perfect guru devotion to all of them. So then if we have a few gurus, then we might think, yeah, this one and that one, and practice guru devotion, be kind to one and not serve the other, or maybe abandon another guru. Then that's how we ordinary beings sometimes act, by the power of afflictions, of aversion, etc. So then don't applying the antidotes, then we cannot prevent those obstacles. Then, if you have a lot of gurus, and not seeing them all have emanations of the Buddha, then so you have to have good devotion to all your teachers. So that's why. So Sakya Pandita also. First teaching he requested was Guru devotion, Guru Yoga practice. So one of his relatives. So if you only see, if your Guru is a relative and you see him as a relative, then there's no Guru devotion. And Drati Khangtsen explained that. So later on, then Drati Khangtsen he did a retreat, then analyzing, doing the Guru Yoga. So after that, practice the Guru devotion correctly. Then later on, he saw his own relative, who was his own teacher, as actual Buddha, had a discriminating factor that that teacher was a Buddha. Then Sakya Pandita. So Drati Khangtsen had this pure vision or pure appearance of Sakya Pandita as a real Buddha. Likewise also, and also the different people in the retinue of the Guru to have pure vision regarding them as well. There's more stories like that. Then there's different stories explaining after Guru devotion that great blessings arose in the practitioner, and by the blessings of that, having all kind of visions and realizations of renunciation, etc., and realizations of the tantras. The uncontrived realizations of the tantric stages. So then, one can jump in Baksa. When we came to Baksa from Tibet, we went to later on to Darjeeling. So there's also Geshe Rinpoche has their little monastery. So so when we were in Baksa at that time, so then initially one could go to different monasteries according to one's wishes. Then the police, Tachi Papa, one who knew Tibetan, he had a few helpers, and then so then the police were preventing people from going out of that particular camp. So the police stopped people from going out, but people stayed there. So that's amazing. So then one monk from our place in Baksa who made a relationship with this police, then this was actually a Lama, this particular monk. Then Toten Rinpoche was been asked for advice, and a few other lamas were involved as well. So we did a little bit of studies there. So and then I took a lot of teachings from Raptanla. So then Raptanla was also asking about this other Lama. So we gave a lot of teachings and instructions. There was also a student called Geshe from Geshe Tenzin, who was very good in the texts, very great scholar, and it was always easy cracking jokes for everybody. So Tibetan Geshe, he was not only a scholar, but also had a good sense of humor. Then he became a Geshe. And then he requested his guru for instruction of the 7 cause and effect method. At that time, there were not many texts available. And then later on, Geshe Rinpoche Then, before going so this monk from Teor was a great scholar, had a lot of text himself as well, and corrected different scriptures. So then also Gen Rabdala helped. Was a particular practice of the Miksema prayer, as they did 100,000 times and had some visions. And explained the general stages of the grounds and paths of Tantra, and then left for other places. So I couldn't meet anymore later on. So then again, Tibetan Yeshe, this great scholar, who gave also quite some teachings in Bakso, and then went out and side of the compound. So some people want to return. Then one said, I'm not returning, not going back. So the incarnation of Pabongka Rinpoche in Tibet. So we didn't meet. So then after he became a Geshe, he had cancer and passed away. So we didn't meet. But Geshe Tobden and Gentuden Tashi, so they were there. So that's why I'm not. When they asked me to go, if I was planning to go back, I said no. So the conditions were quite difficult. So there was another Teo Khangtsen monk called Gen Tupten, who also stayed, didn't go back. Then so then he also stayed in a very small room, 2 pens and pots and pans, a few possessions only. So a little place to cook, a little place to stay. So it happened like that. Then later on, we left and we went to establish different centers. And we also later on went to Dharamsala. So a few of the centers we established didn't survive, but a few are still existing, of course. Like that. So now in the world, in order to establish peace and happiness in the world, so we have established centers to accomplish that, or try to accomplish that. Because we all don't like suffering, and we all need to achieve enlightenment, to lead all sentient beings to that same state. So then my own teacher will give different things for livelihood, like food, etc., books. So got a heart failure or sickness at the heart.
Los Angeles, California.
So then later Los Angeles, California. So when His Holiness came to India after that, then after His Holiness came from Tibet to India, then slowly Buddhism spread in the world. So then this particular teacher who was sick, the heart disease, then he got worse. Then the 10th day of the new year, he passed away. So then this teacher who was so sick and helped cleaning this particular person who was sick, this teacher. So there were a few other monks assisting as well. So then when we served the teacher in this way, by the power of that, so then I think we accumulated a lot of purification. Came to my mind that if I just see how we practice and serve that particular guru who was sick and cleaning his body when he couldn't go to use the bathroom, then I think that we must have purified a lot of negative karma. Came to my mind. So then in Dharamsala, in Tushita, one particular place close to Tushita, offered to His Holiness. An offering was made to His Holiness. A flower was offered to His Holiness. So I offered that yesterday. And the next morning, when doing my prayers, then so then it says, I came to my mind that for the benefit of beings, I pray to be born in the hell realms to help sentient beings. I never came to my mind before, but at that time I had to cry, even making sounds of crying at that time. So then I thought that definitely came from the Guru, the blessing of the Guru. Having offered the flowers the previous day and remembering that next day, then some power of that. I think I had that kind of thought coming to my mind of compassion. So that I think that came exactly from the blessing of the Guru. So sometimes it happens when we do our prayers and then all of a sudden we get a kind of feeling or insight, and then maybe we have become emotional. That can happen. And then I was crying and even making the sound of crying. So that I think that only happened to me because of the blessing of the Guru. It never happened to me before. So then some Westerners, so monks and nuns also in the West, it's very important to have perfect Guru devotion, because if you don't have faith, if you have a lot of lamas and if you don't have faith, then so there's many people who teach also themselves in the West. There's quite a few like that. Then some of them, they say, oh, I don't have faith in this teacher or that teacher. So then some then so like the great Indian Pandits. So it all comes down, all the teachings we receive and we discuss with others comes from Sakyamuni Buddha, and then the great Indian masters or the scholars from Nalanda. So that's it's not made by the Tibetan lamas. So some people don't know that. Some people in the West, they only think that Guru devotion came from the Tibetans. But it's not made by the Tibetans. It came from India. So our clock or our watch goes like tick, 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 tick. So that clock goes exactly according to a particular machine. So that goes exactly according to a plant. So likewise, Guru devotion is not just made by the Tibetans. It comes back from the great scholars of Nalanda. It's not that it's made by Tibetan lamas. So that's why if you have correct Guru devotion, then if you're a scholar or not, if you meditate on impermanence and death, then straight away you get an insight or a feeling of it if you have Guru devotion. If you're a scholar or not, that doesn't matter. The main thing is faith in the Guru. Same with other aspects of the path. If it's compassion or bodhicitta on emptiness. So even if we don't understand something directly, when we read it, then straight away sometimes it can happen that straight away we get a feeling of that particular point, although we might not totally understand it. So that is true for the correct view, for example, or body chitta. So if you try to put it into practice, so renunciation, body chitta, or the correct view. So if you make strong praise to the Guru, then so strong Guru's praise to the Guru, then that's all comes from the scriptures. Then, by Guru devotion, then by just studying something once, or seeing it once, or reading it once, then so normally we can recognize the object of refutation. We cannot. If you study, become a scholar, and you debate back and forth outside, debating outside with somebody, oh, this is the object of refutation, or that is it, that by itself is not enough. Inside, we have to recognize inside. And that comes from faith in the Guru. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Just outside debating, that by itself. So, if the blessing of the Guru come or not, that the blessings of the Guru, that helps us to purify, to generate the correct view. So since beginning this lifetime, we have this concrete concept of I. So we hold it like so steady with our hands. We hold it so we hold it, but actually it doesn't exist. That object of refutation doesn't exist. But we hold it and see it as so precious. Oh, so precious. But actually it doesn't exist. So it's like that. If you later on recognize the object of refutation, then you analyze, it's not there, not there. Then you can understand the view by Guru devotion, because it accumulates so much merit, purifies so much negative deeds. Then put great imprints in the mind. So if we study and contemplate and put imprints in the mind, so that's actually is the nature of the philosophy, the nature of the mind. That's how it actually works, cause and effect, by depending on the blessing of the Guru, of Guru devotion. By that blessing, like that, like our clock, it works, it functions. That's how cause and effect works. So that's why, as I said before, yesterday, to please the Guru. If you please the Guru, then so going to the pujas, study, going to the debates, reciting the scriptures, memorizing, receiving the instructions, that's really serving His Holiness. That is establish His Holiness' wishes. So you should think like that. Then you get a very happy mind. That's the best dharma we can do, to become good human beings, follow His Holiness' advice. So if you stay in a monastery, if try to please the Guru, very important. That's why, if you can please the Guru, then the realizations will come. by the kindness of the blessings of the Guru. So that's why it's like that. It's not merely an explanation of a person who is obscured. No. That's how it is. You can see from the point of view of experience. If you have some experience of this, you can see. If you have correct Guru devotion, then you will see. You see yourself that your understanding, feeling, experience of the path will come by pleasing the Guru. The words we read in the text, those things, understand the meaning, comes to the mind because of the Guru. The blessings of the Guru by Guru devotion. Then likewise, Pabongka Rinpoche, Tenzin Ningpo, he had one disciple, one Jamyang called Gen Jamyang. Then in Tibet, when he didn't practice, he didn't study well, but he served the Guru. One day, then Pabongka Rinpoche made a prediction for his realization to come about of Gen Jamyang. Then one day, again Lundrup, he said that because of practice Guru devotion, then he got realizations of the tantric stages very quickly by pleasing the Guru, by following the Guru's advice. So the Pabongka gave a prediction for this servant that he will get great realizations at the time of passing away as well. So that came only from serving the Guru. Then at Chengawa, Karambakishi. So having faith in the Guru, having faith in the Guru, and for the rest not having anything else, or doing other practices other than Guru devotion. Kadambakishi Chengawa. If you have very stable faith in the Guru, then wherever you stay, that's more important than meeting Manjushri directly. So that is very important. You should understand this importance. So that is the biggest accumulation of merit. Even if you're just a great scholar, but if you don't have faith, in the Guru, then it's like a desert without water. Nothing will grow. Whatever sun shines, nothing will grow. It's dry, very dry. Like, so this desert, totally dry, nothing will grow. Even if you're a great scholar, but you don't have any faith, then like this, like a desert, nothing will grow. And you can say to your students, I'm a great scholar, and so forth. But then there's no realizations. No realizations. Then, so then, whenever the mind is not subdued, having obscurations, accumulate negative deeds, it's like that. So only being a scholar is not enough. You have to have correct Guru devotion. Very important. Very important. Kadamba Geshe Chengawa. That's scriptural source that the Guru is more important than an actual Manjushri to be met. So we see the Guru as have a discriminating factor that the Guru is Buddha. So also in a Lamrim called the essential nectar. It says, if you please the Guru, you will accomplish all qualities. It's like that. Very important. If you practice correctly, correct Guru devotion, then all negative karma to be born in the lower realms, that will be purified. That gets exhausted, purified, if you practice correct Guru devotion. To purify the mind. So we need that. So before, two uncles in Kopan, so then, before when I was not studying but just playing around, then I like to play with threads and with two. So I made a kind of instrument. So the spider web was close by. Then put the thread there and then look what happened. Then the spider came and put some more thread around it. So I did many things like that. Then sometimes also Then in Baksa, then I didn't really study. I was mainly just playing around. That's what I did. So then, just like that. But it was actually quite hot there, but I don't really remember that it was actually that hot. So I think sometimes maybe that also came from the blessing of the teachers. So in order to practice the Dharma or put the Dharma into practice, so like that. So as I said before, here in this text of the essence of nectar, it says, by practicing Guru devotion, you purify all negative karma to be born in lower states. All these negative karmas. And then also it says in the different scriptures that if you practice correct Guru devotion with great faith, then negative karma gets ripened in a dream, for example, but otherwise will cause you to go in lower states. So all the negative karma are created over eons that in this life, particular, if you have a short sickness or something, by the power of that, sometimes also it can get purified because of correct Guru devotion, prevent you from falling in lower states, so that some even just experience the suffering in a dream. So then, because of that powerful object, negative karma gets purified, even in a dream, which otherwise you have to experience for a long time in the lower states of rebirth. So the negative karma accumulated over many eons get purified by correct Guru devotion. many eons, innumerable amounts of eons can ripen in this life in the form of a suffering of a dream or something. So then in Baksa before 2 months, no chura, there was no debate. So the cornfields, in the corn, you know. So at that time I was in Darjeeling, but at that time. So 2 months there was not many things to eat, so then they used corn and ate the corn in form like tsampa. So then at that time, so sometimes you can experience some hardships or some suffering, which actually purifies a lot of negative karma by the power of Guru devotion. Otherwise will ripen to be born for eons in lower states of rebirth, so that get just purified in a short period of time by Guru devotion. So that's why when we in the monastery, if we study and we have some difficulties, then if we practice and study the best way we can, and practicing Guru devotion, then sometimes we can get sick or meet obstacles, sickness. But also, it can also happen if you have real good devotion, then sometimes even those obstacles don't arise. Some people think they're great scholars, they have great imprints, like this, like that, but that is not enough. So, to practice correct Guru devotion is very important. Then everything comes automatically. Purification, understanding of the text, not to be born in a lower state of rebirth, purifying all that negative karma, not to have to experience that, gets purified, totally purified. So, for example, so if you go to a Chinese restaurant or something, so they eat a lot of little creatures. One particular family, they eat so many little creatures, so many. So they eat all these creatures. So that isn't it? Out of ignorance. So the Chinese, some of the Chinese, they eat they eat everything except the table. So they eat all these little things. So in the Chinese restaurants, thousands of little creatures. So then, but then they walk around like, I will have a long life. I'm a big person. Like, they walk around like, I'm healthy. Look at me. So they don't analyze, they actually realize they create so much negative in the lower states of rebirth. They just think, oh, I'm happy, I'm eating this, I'm eating that, I'm okay. It's not like that. Because then after that, they can be born in lower states of rebirth. It's like that. So then if you give up this life and you go to the mountains to practice correctly, then then this meditator in the mountains, whoever it is who will give up this life, then of course there can be obstacles can arise, but if you practice well, you have to practice good devotion. If you practice the real Dharma, then you have to give up this life. Not only is escaping to the mountains, but it's a mental state. So sometimes you can experience obstacles of suffering, and then that can be purified by good devotion. Otherwise, you might have to cause to be born in low state of rebirths for a long period of time. It's like this quotation where it actually says that in the future, like the rays of the sun, that to have met these kind of teachings, like the rays of the sun, so then if you practice correct, pure Dharma, then you come closer to Buddhahood by these rays of the Dharma. So it's like that. That's why you have to practice the pure Dharma. So then, so how can you make your life meaningful? So I was planning to say something, but so then, not being born in the lower states of rebirths, have higher rebirths, that higher realizations all comes from the Guru. All those qualities comes from the Guru. So that's what quotation I forgot yesterday to mention. I didn't remember yesterday, but actually here it says to practice effort by seeing that the qualities of good devotion has been explained, then get all the benefits. The root of all virtue, root of all happiness is the Guru. So then I start with the loom at the transmission. So here, so the root of the part is Guru devotion, the root of all the qualities. So I want to say something which I don't remember, but Kunan Lama Rinpoche potential of a particular statement or verse. So, referring to bodhicitta, each sentient being, all happiness of each sentient being, all happiness of each sentient being, temporary and ultimate. For that purpose, all happiness, all sentient beings, comes from bodhicitta in one's own mind. If you have bodhicitta in your own mind, in your own continuum, then all hell beings, all pretas, animals, humans, gods, all sentient beings, you can lead them to enlightenment, all of them. All of that comes from one bodhicitta in your own continuum. All happiness, all sentient beings. Likewise, each suffering of each sentient being, all sentient beings' sufferings, the hell beings, pretas, animals, humans, gods, all their suffering, incredible amounts of suffering, to eliminate all that suffering comes from the bodhicitta in your own mind. So if you have bodhicitta in your own mind, then you practice bodhicitta, have the realization of bodhicitta, then by the power of that mind, all sentient beings, happiness of all sentient beings, emanating the suffering of all sentient beings from the bodhicitta in your own mind. All of that comes from bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. So that's why incredible bodhicitta, so precious, so fortunate. So then, for the benefit of all sentient beings, to liberate them from the oceans of samsaric suffering, for that particular purpose, I have to achieve enlightenment, and for that purpose, to achieve enlightenment, I'm attending these oral transmissions. That's the motivation. So I receive these oral transmissions for that purpose. So then, that's for that purpose we receive this transmission. That we always have to think like that. If we take transmissions, then for the benefit of all sentient beings, to benefit them. Make prayers to benefit them. Whatever lung or whatever teaching we receive, I think it's meant for the purpose of generating the stages, bodhicitta, etc., for the benefit of all sentient beings. So whenever you do that, then if you do that all the time, then realizations will come. The potential of one's mind, the potential will come about. So that's why. Geshe Tenzin Namdak once, he said, Gegu gave punishments to one monk. Then Buddhist doctrine, he made a prayer to make Buddhism disappear, because he was punished by the disciplinarian, and his mind became negative, and made his prayer. And by the power of that, actually, a kind of some people say other kind of negative forms of religion arose. So to eliminate Buddhism, so So that's why. So this monk was punished and made this wrong prayer to destroy the Buddha's doctrine. He was punished by the disciplinarian. So then he got upset and made this strong prayer to destroy the Buddha's doctrine. So again, Geshe Tenzin Namdak once told that story. So like that. So then the transmission. So then try to dedicate all virtue accumulated past, present and future. All virtue accumulated by Buddhas, Bodhisattvas and sentient beings. May all sentient beings generate the stains of mind to escape the oceans of samsara from beginningless lifetime, so that they may be liberated from that. Like that. So try to dedicate countless beings having accumulated countless forms of karma, countless sentient beings have to experience suffering. So then oneself, if one doesn't become a Buddha, then they have to suffer again in samsara again and again without end. So that's why all sentient beings without end, countless types of suffering they have to experience. So one has to generate bodhicitta. By generating bodhicitta, then one will be able to help all the sentient beings. Also dedicated, all beings in this world will generate bodhicitta. And then also try to dedicate for the monastery and all of us, all the people who help out, and then also our family members and friends, those who are alive, those who passed away. May they all generate, wherever they are, generate bodhicitta in their minds, oneself and others, without exception, not only oneself. Then all sentient beings, by hearing, seeing oneself, or thinking about oneself, by the power of that, may they also put, when they dream of you, etc., etc., by the power of that, may they generate bodhicitta in their minds. So try to dedicate for that purpose.